So a way to obtain a exemption is to have a contraindication to one to having like a pre-existing issue, say as an anaphylactic reaction to one of the excipients or components of any of the vaccines.
This is Betty Pezzimenti. She runs a food truck and catering business in Australia. Australia has mandated that anyone that is not vaccinated is not allowed to work. This is not just federal or public employees or healthcare workers. This is anyone. Anyone not vaccinated is not allowed to earn a living. However, the government websites do stipulate that people with certain conditions will qualify for medical exemptions. Let's see if she meets those conditions.
So I was clinically diagnosed 6 years ago with a polyethylene glycol, or PEGs for short. Another name for it is macrogol excipient. I have allergies to an anaphylaxis to a multitude of things, but the excipients being one of the worst. So this had been diagnosed and documented. This component is actually in the mRNA vaccination, so both the Pfizer and Moderna. It's also chemically similar to another component called polysorbate 80, which is present in both the Johnson & Johnson and the AstraZeneca vaccination. So there is a high probability of cross-reactivity if you have the polyethylene glycol anaphylactic allergies. I do have anaphylactic allergies to other items. I have a multitude of allergies, but the anaphylaxis is to other excipients as well. Another one being magnesium stearate, which is in like a multitude of things. So supplements, food items as well. Polyethylene glycols are also in most beauty products, even skincare products and that. So I've also got anaphylaxis to certain foods, so kiwi fruit, avocado, they're some of the main culprits.
So, what do you think? She's explained her allergic reactions. She's explained that the stimulants, the ingredients that she's allergic to, are contained in the 2 mRNA vaccines. And that there's high cross-reactivity to the other vaccine. Now, what I keep hearing is anaphylaxis isn't that bad. Really? Let's listen to some of her history with regards to anaphylaxis.
And so you've had anaphylactic reactions?
First appeared sort of like tongue swelling, lip swelling, itchy throat, then my airways start to close up, and then I might break out into hives. If it's topical, generally it'll start with the hives and then kind of do a reverse reaction. So then it'll start going into my throat, my lips, my tongue. I have had anaphylaxis from also having an injection before. It wasn't a vaccination, it was a cortisone injection actually. That was a different experience. That was my most severe anaphylactic reaction. I actually lost consciousness twice. That I just didn't feel well, and then I lost consciousness, I passed out. When I came to, it was, my body had broken out into hives all over, the throat tightness, couldn't breathe, couldn't see. I was administered epinephrine, which is the EpiPen, which I lost consciousness again after that. When I came to, I was vomiting, and then I was taken to the ER for monitoring as well post that.
Tongue swelling. Lip swelling. My airways start to close up. Lost consciousness twice. Twice. Couldn't breathe. Couldn't see. She's treated with the only treatment for anaphylaxis known, epinephrine. An EpiPen. And? What happens? She loses consciousness again. This means she's even had severe reactions to the treatment. You get it? You get how serious her reactions are? Of course you do. So let's see what happens when she goes to her doctor, who knows her history, to ask for a medical exemption.
What happened when you went to the doctor and said, I can't take these, I need an exemption?
Yeah, so given that our mandates were coming in and every occupation being on the mandate list, I was like, well, if I don't have my exemption, I legally can't work in the state of Victoria. Now that's also gone across nationwide, so there's not any state I would be able to over the next few months given the mandates. So I went to her just thinking it'll be an easy process. It's stipulated on multiple government websites that if you've got a contraindication and a polyethylene, specifically a polyethylene glycol excipient allergy and the high possibility of polysorbate 80 cross-reactivity, you can be granted a permanent exemption to the COVID vaccinations. So given that this was stipulated on multiple websites in Australia, the Victorian Specialist Immunisation Services, the Melbourne Vaccination Education Centre's website, I know even globally it's been mentioned on the CDC website and numerous ones as well. So I went to my doctor asking her to fill out this form. It's called the IMO 11 form. She returned to me with saying, I can't give you the exemption due to legal liability.
If there was ever anyone who is a candidate for a medical exemption, it would be her. And what does her doctor tell her? That she won't give her a medical exemption, because that would make her legally liable. What would she be liable for? And to who? Can anyone answer that? Her doctor tells her that the only doctors who can give her an exemption are immunologists. Which is not what the government website said. And so she asks her doctor for a referral to an immunologist. Let's hear what happens next.
So from there, I asked for a referral to my previous clinical immunologist, which was through a public healthcare system at a public hospital. These were the people who actually diagnosed me 6 years ago with the polyethylene glycol allergy. I got back a letter from the hospital saying that the wait would be 12 to 24 months before I could see a clinical immunologist.
12 to 24 months. Up to 2 years. She's being asked to put her life at risk. Otherwise, she won't be allowed to earn a living. For 2 years. Otherwise, she won't be allowed to participate in any social activities. In any of the things that make life worth living. Can you see now how this has absolutely nothing to do with public health? Can you see how this is a campaign that's designed to maximize profit at any cost? Even to health itself? I truly wonder if you can see it. If you think this is just happening in Australia, you're wrong. It's happening everywhere. It's happening right here in the US of A. We know because several doctors have said to us that they won't give a legitimate medical exemption because it would jeopardize their medical license. Think about that. Please. I want to play one final segment. Betty goes back to her doctor, repeatedly, to beg for her exemption. And on her third attempt, her doctor tells her, well, listen for yourself.
And she had even said to me, if I were to request her vaccinate me, she would say no because of my anaphylaxis and that it was too risky to do it in her practice.
I'm not sure what else there is to say. I'm not sure if there is anything to say. Other than, please think about this the next time someone tells you that it's all for the greater good. Thank you for listening.